What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So I want to talk about a couple of things. All right. First off, I want to start off by talking about Shannon and Courtney versus Ebony Bridges. Slugfest, brutal fight. Shannon and Courtney got the win. She got the decision win. Ebony Bridges, she did her thing, man. I mean, she had the nasty, big, swollen left eye like it was about to pop open. But I mean, it was a brutal fight, and a lot of people are talking about, them doing it again. Now, one judge had it scored 98-92. One judge had it 97-94. Right, 98-92. I don't agree with that 98-92. I thought the fight was closer than that. Now, people can get misled because of how hard they fight and score some rounds to think it was more close than what it was because of how it was back and forth. But I do think it was closer than that. There's times when people say they think the fight was closer, and it's like, no, you got to score rounds. For me, a lot of times in fights, when you close a round stronger than you started, then people, like somebody might win the first half, you might get the second half, or, some fights are kind of tricky to score. I thought the fight was closer than 98-92. I'll go with the 97-94. I'll go with 97-94. But 98-92, I thought it was I thought it was closer than that. I'll go with the 97-94. Either way, it was a slugfest, and Shannon and Courtney got the win. And you know what? To be honest with you, that fight was so action-packed that the amount of punishment that a fighter has to take, and then for that fight to get overlooked, for people to not really recognize that, it takes toll on the body. You might not realize it at the time, but every fight at some point it takes toll on you. When you take punishment like that. So when to see a fight like that, and when it's even like when you lose a close decision, it's more satisfying when you know that, hey, you know what, I lost, but I gave that motherfucker a run for his money. I would believe I never lost, so I don't know. But no, I'm just saying, like I don't feel like it was 98-92. That I don't agree with. But even Shannon and Courtney at the end, when they were waiting for the decision, she was really like, when she got the win, like, oh, okay, yeah, like she was so excited. Like, a lot of times when the guy know he won, person know they won, they'll hold their hand up. They, she knew it was a close fight, and basically, if they did do it again, I mean, these kind of fights, I know for the fans watching, people are like, yeah, I like to see that again. But I mean, those kind of fights, man, they damage your body. They really damage your body. So the next fight may be, similar. I don't think it will be better. You never know. But that kind of fight, man, is like, somebody has to do something different. I mean, Ebony Bridges was coming forward, and I hear people saying how, oh yeah, but she was the aggressor. Being the aggressor does not mean that you're landing punches, that you landed the most punches. She was the aggressor. She started backing Shannon and Courtney up. But at the same time, Shannon and Courtney, I thought she won the fight. But it was a great fight either way. It was a war. It kind of reminds me, reminds me of Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti. It was one of those type fights, man. It was just banging, and I'm pretty sure the fans, well, from the people I talked to, and from just basically, that was a fight that people enjoyed. It was a fight. I like the variations. I like technical boxing matches. I like boxing, straight brawling, whatever it may be. Every fight is different. So shout out to both of them. Salute to them. That was a war. Now, Benn versus Samuel Vargas. I mean, it wasn't much filling out in that first round. It was just basically, they started, throwing punches. They were moving around and, using movement boxing, and then once Benn started unloading, he just caught him, backed him up into the ropes, and the ref stopped it. I thought it was a good stoppage. Of course, You have people, you know, oh man, they should have let him go out on his shield. They shouldn't have stopped it. It's like, you guys love saying they shouldn't have did this and that. That guy was taking brutal shots. Why let him just take more punishment? The referee's job is not to give a shit about what you think, what I think, what the next person think. The referee's job is for the safety of the fighters. Why do you guys continue to bash the referees for doing their job? You know, that wasn't an early stoppage. My man was getting hit with power shots, clean, flush, okay? And that could be, fuck, just career. That could be life-ending type, like life-changing type, you know, blows, man. And fighters have died in the ring. Let's say he goes down and gets back up and then takes more punishment. I mean, when you're getting hit with clean shots like that, come on, man. We're not talking about jabs and you know, glancing shots. This guy was getting hit with flush shots. You know, Conor Benn can punch. Conor Benn, you know, he was throwing some savage-like shit once he caught him. That was it. He didn't let him off the hook at all. He backed him into the ropes, and you don't have to go down. Okay, and this is what I'm saying. Like, we made the same comparison when we was talking about how when Deontay was getting rocked with shots by Luis Ortiz, how Wilder didn't go down. But we've seen referees stop fights when you get hit with flush shots. And the thing is, he was catching him on the ropes. Luis Ortiz landed more shots overall on Deontay, okay? And they didn't stop that fight. And basically, if they would have stopped that fight, people would have been saying the same thing. He should have let him go out on his shield. But at the same time, and the argument between that was because, you know, Wilder saying Fury was out and the ref should have stopped the fight. And so we just see it, you know, we now if he would have stopped the fight, look what happened when Fury got up. So people can always try to make an argument and say, well, what if he would have did the same thing, right? No. The point what I'm talking about, he didn't have to go down, but that guy was taking some brutal shots. He couldn't get out the way of him. I thought it was a good stoppage. Conor Benn did what he had to do. I think Conor Benn, along with the next guy I'm about to talk about, is, you know, going to be the future of the welterweight division. Basically, you know, Jarron Ennis and Sergey Lipinets. Now, Sergey was landing some shots, but Jarron Ennis was turning his head properly, you know, moving with the shots. He was able to take the shots, absorb his shots better than Lipinets couldn't take his shots. You know, he was too sharp, man. Just overall too skilled. He was breaking him down to the body, you know, going up top and mixing it up. And 6th round, got him out of there. I think Jarron Ennis and like I said, him and Conor Benn, I think the two of them definitely are like two of the future players in the welterweight division. You never know. Sometimes, you know, fighters just don't do what you thought they were going to do. They might excel, might become better than what we think. You know, I don't know how good they're going to be, but I think that they are the future of the welterweight division. And, you know, as fighters are building up, you want to see, you know, you always want to see a division stacked with guys that can, you know, that can produce great fights. And right now, I think these are two big-time players in the welterweight division. And, you know, basically, you know, Jarron Ennis showed a good chin, and he just walked through Lipinets, man. I mean, he walked through him, man, and he punished him. So I thought it was a good showing. It was a solid match, most definitely. Now, I want to answer 2 questions, okay? And I wanna pretty much close the video after these 2, you know, with these 2 responses. So basically, you know, I was asked about 2 particular fights. One, I was asked about Fury versus AJ. You know, who I think is going to win and why. You know, and basically I was asked the same thing about Clarissa Shields. You know, I forget her damn name. I just did a video on her. Let me start with AJ and Fury, okay? First of all, Savannah Marshall. First of all,
after the beep, say phone call, music search,
AJ,
voice help, address, find nearest POI category.
Pause. Pardon. First off, with AJ and Fury, I already spoke about this. I did a video breaking this down. And you never know what the fight is going to do until, you know, fight night comes. But what happens?
Please select the number for correct place in post.
What happened? You know, doing all the training, all the talking, and the build-up, people will always have, of course, their opinions on what they think is going to happen, who's going to do what. Now, again, for everybody who's still high off of Fury beating Wilder, Deontay Wilder is not Anthony Joshua. Two completely different fighters. Two completely different fighters that can, you know, that can punch. And basically, that's where the comparison's in. Is they're both tall and they both can punch. Difference is AJ can punch with both hands. You know, the big shot that Wilder has is his straight right. Now, Wilder's light in the ass. You can walk him down. He doesn't have that kind of. Wilder's like he's like a, not so much finesse. He's more finesse than he is. He doesn't use his body weight. He doesn't muscle you around. He keeps his distance from you, and he uses reach, and he tries to measure you and then time you. That's what he does, pretty much the whole fight. Okay. Anthony Joshua tries to set traps. He's good on the inside. He's good on the inside. People seem to overlook that because he wasn't able to fight the shorter, much faster Andy Ruiz on the inside. And basically, who have you seen do that? The thing is with AJ, and let me say, Andy Ruiz is the only person that I see him having an issue with being able to like really get on the inside, not being able to do what he needs to do because he's just so much faster. You know, Joseph Parker moved and danced a lot when they fought, and they both, you know, they were trying to set traps. They were both moving, but it wasn't the same. You know, Joseph Parker, I believe he's a little faster than AJ as well, but not so much where AJ have to worry about what happens if he starts letting his hands go. Different with Andy Ruiz, completely different fight. Okay, plus with Andy Ruiz being so much shorter, he needs to be on the outside anyway and do what he did. Now, there's other things that he can do if he has confidence that he can do it, okay? You can't just tell a fighter to do something and then they just, okay. Like, you have to know that you're doing it. And not only that, understand when your sparring partner is trying to emulate your opponent, they're only trying to emulate. How many heavyweights do you see that people can spar with that have Andy Ruiz type of hand speed? Okay, another thing is this. I was watching AJ train, and AJ's throwing a lot of hard body shots, a lot of, you know, hard shots up top and to the body. And every time, you know, he puts these different videos out and show these clips of him training, you know, I pay attention to what he's doing. Any fighter, you know, I pay attention to what they're doing. And basically, I don't see Anthony Joshua dancing and moving against Tyson Fury. First off, the only thing, Tyson Fury has a longer reach and taller. Tyson Fury, again, he's not stronger than Anthony Joshua. He's not faster than Anthony Joshua. He's not stronger. He cannot muscle him around like he was doing against Deontay Wilder. Now, I've heard people say things like, oh, Matt, this morning, as a matter of fact, someone said, yeah, man, you know, Anthony Joshua said something about he's putting on his running shoes to fight Tyson Fury, but then he says nowhere to run, nowhere to hide to Tyson Fury. In my opinion, that was Anthony Joshua being sarcastic, because there's people who think he's gonna, they keep saying like, oh, he's gonna run, he's not gonna stand there and fight Fury. Okay, I think that's false. You know, we'll see, but I think that's false. I think he's gonna come forward and he's gonna put that pressure on Fury. I think he's gonna box Fury. Okay, I don't think he's gonna go there like a madman, just winging sloppy shots, just trying to get him out of there without boxing. I think he's gonna go and box. He's gonna apply that pressure. Now, what people, all that slip and slide and stuff that Fury does, first off, if Fury tries to go forward, in my opinion, and try to match his power, try to go in there, try to go for the knockout against AJ, I think Fury gets knocked out. Plain and simple, I think he goes to sleep. If Fury basically, you know, uses jab movement back up, movement, jab, throws his shots, try to give him different looks. I'm not so sure that Anthony Joshua has stamina issues. I think it's because of, like, when you fight, like, understand, it's not like Fury has a high punch output where he in super conditioning. No, it's just Fury doesn't really throw that many punches, you know. And when he does, he throw a little slap, little touch, just little shit, little nothing, and then try to, you know, catch you with a good combination and move. Fury has to sit down on his punches for his punches to really do any damage. And even when he sits down on his punches, he's not a devastating puncher. He just has his weight behind his shot, but he's not a big puncher. AJ knows that. Why would AJ have to dance and move? And it doesn't make any sense to say I'm putting on my running shoes and then say nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. That's not what he meant. As far as I'm concerned, that makes no sense. I feel like he's saying that, and this is my opinion, but I feel like he's saying that, you know, being sarcastic to those saying that he's going to run. AJ is too strong and hit too hard for Fury to try to stand there and just bang with him. So for everybody that's thinking he's going to walk him down and just walk through him, I think you guys are going to be highly disappointed when the fight happens. I mean, I would have to see that happen to believe it. I don't believe it. I believed he could do it to Wilder because Wilder can't box. Wilder can't fight backing up. And to be perfectly honest with you, the only reason that people are moving away from Wilder so much is because they're afraid of the right hand. And what they're not realizing is, and like people think Wilder's stamina is so crazy. No, it's not that he has crazy stamina. Wilder is another fighter who doesn't have a high punch output. So what happens is Wilder's able to stand up there and rest like he needs to. He's not burning any really energy. He's just moving. You understand? He throws very little punches. And so what happens is, you know, if you're moving and throwing shots, and Wilder's able to be elusive and, you know, get out your way, get out the way, and not get caught with these shots, you're getting more tired than Wilder is. You understand what I'm saying? And then when Wilder starts to move, because basically Wilder just catches you with a shot, and he gets you out of there. Wilder doesn't have to throw a lot of combinations, and when he does, the only time it's not really combinations. He's just letting his hands go, just throwing those wild windmill shots when he gets a guy hurt. That's not AJ, man. And I believe, like, look, AJ, when you get better with skill, also you start to understand your body. You know when to turn up, when to, you know, turn it down, when to turn it up. And so people are overlooking it. They keep going by the past with AJ. They seem to forget, you know, AJ went 12 rounds with Ruiz, and he was moving, jabbing, right hand throwing. He was fighting. He was moving. You ask any fighter who gets on their toes and move and fight the way AJ did, it takes toll on you. It makes you tired. So AJ basically was you know, showing things that people were overlooking. I'm not concerned about, like I said, I don't do the arguing thing to try to make you see things my way. I'm basically just letting you guys, like, listen. Yeah, I'm going with AJ to win. I want AJ to win. But if AJ was to lose, I'm not going to make any excuses about anything. I don't ever make excuses. You know, again, it's all about the fight itself. Because either fighter could come in and do things different from what we're imagining. But for me, it's like, even when people are saying, oh, he's the more skilled boxer, I don't think he's more skilled than AJ. I think they're two different type of boxers. And I think he's more loose than AJ. AJ is more tight, you know, more systematic with the way he does things. You know, Tyson Fury is just more... He has been in certain fights more elusive, but you got to look at who he's been fighting as well, okay? Because he has some stinkers, man. He's had some fights with a bunch of meatballs, and the fight that he had with Klitschko, okay? Let's be honest, that was a boring ass fight. Y'all the same people that sit and say, "Oh, Floyd was boring," but yet you applaud that fight against Klitschko. It was a boring fight. He just basically stayed out of harm's way and just kept it long. And moved and played and stuck his arms out in there and did all that shit. But I mean, what was exciting about that fight? Nothing. Maybe he fights Anthony Joshua the same way. Now, whatever he chooses to do, that's on him. But if he tries to stand there and bang with AJ, I think he's going to sleep. And, you know, just like Cunningham dropped him, just like Wilder dropped him, it'd be no difference. AJ can get him out of there. And I think the best chance that I think the best chance that Fury has is if he can box and keep his distance, if he can outpoint AJ, and then let's say if AJ does get tired, you know, but at the same time, you know, understand Tyson Fury also can get tired. Tyson Fury also can you know, people may say, oh, he has better conditioning. Listen, you guys are comparing two completely different type opponents. You know, when AJ, okay, like for people who think, I don't think AJ looked bad when he fought White. I don't think he looked bad. The only fight he had that he looked bad in, okay, was the Ruiz one. To look and see things, I see things in Tyson Fury too that he can tweak and do different. Okay, at the same time, when he fought Otto Wallin, did he look good? Was he not getting caught? Otto Wallin is still a work in progress. But it's like nobody brings that fight up. You guys act like that fight never happened, but you want to talk about, oh, AJ, like when he got headbutted in the nose, it was the Takam fight or the Povetkin fight. Look, when you get tagged, right, and you get caught with a good shot, somebody rock you quick, okay, cool, good shot. But he didn't go down. And you want to know what? He wound up knocking his opponent out. And even when the referee, you know, as far as the ref stopping the fight with Takam, whatever, listen, y'all. It's not, for me, like I said, it's not about, you know, me saying a bunch of things because because I want a particular fighter to win. I'm looking at both fighters. I do not see any superiority in on behalf of Tyson Fury. I just see them having two different styles. Like I said, it's like comparing Evander Holyfield to Larry Holmes. Somewhat. Because Holmes threw more punches than Fury does. But it's like, you know, you choose who you think was better. It's preference as far as what I'm concerned. As far as just factually saying, oh, he's a better boxer, I don't know about that, man. And not only that, okay, we've seen guys who have better boxing skills than other guys lose. Okay? Simple. Simple. You know, people thought Errol Spence was going to lose to Danny Garcia for several reasons. Look at what happened. People think Terrence Crawford is going to beat him because they think Terrence Crawford's a better boxer. I don't know if we'll ever get to see that happen, but regardless, it's all preference. Look at the first fight with Wilder and Fury. Some of those rounds, they were throwing like 9, 10 punches, landed a lot, like low 9 punches, 10. Like, I mean, it wasn't doing nothing, man. Low punch. Like, I mean, how do you land 9 punches, 8 punches? And, you know, I mean, and that's including jabs. So it's not like there was some dominating performance. He won the fight. He outboxed Wilder. He won, to me, every round except for the rounds he got knocked down in. That was it. I didn't give Wilder one round outside of the knockdowns. And, you know, and this is not to take anything away from him. I've said this way back when the fight actually happened. Like, it was, I didn't think it was a good fight. I just felt like the anticipation because of who they were and the fact that a lot of people, if not most, thought that Wilder was going to knock Fury out. And that didn't happen. But if you break down the fight itself, it's like, it wasn't really much going on. Second fight, he just destroyed him. But again, Wilder is an easy touch. Wilder is a guy who has a good right hand and very limited skills. Okay? And so Fury did what he was supposed to do. But again, it's a completely different fight. Let me reiterate. If Anthony Joshua was to fight Andy Ruiz the same way in the rematch that he did the first time, in my opinion, Andy Ruiz wins again. Anthony Joshua now knows he can get on his toes and move if he needs to. He knows how to stay out of harm's way if he needs to, and he also knows how to get in and out, and he can fight on the inside. When I'm breaking these things down, this has nothing to do, again, like I said, with who I want to win. This is just what I see. So, if, you know, a lot of people think, like, if the fight goes the distance, that Fury wins. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. And on top of that, you know, the punishment that he may sustain in this fight, okay, You guys, you know, like Mike Tyson was saying that, oh, Fury's Joshua's too slow. He's not fast enough to hit Tyson Fury. And I'm like, Mike, you must not have seen the Otto Wallin fight. You know, you must not have seen when he got dropped by a fucking cruiserweight in Cunningham. And this is not about taking credit from Fury. This is about, you know, challenging the bullshit logic that a lot of you are coming up with, trying to make excuses about why he's going to win the fight, as if, you know, a lot of y'all make it sound like every fight Fury had was just a masterclass of boxing, like he doesn't make mistakes in the ring, and like it basically fought a bunch of meatballs. If you break down his resume and look at who's who, okay, now we know Fury can fight, but stop talking like oh, he doesn't make mistakes. It's impossible to hurt him. It's impossible to hit him. If Mike Tyson or anybody thinks that AJ is not fast enough to hit him, we'll see. And also, I believe AJ is going to punish his body as well. Time his shots, bow. Not a hard shot. One shot to the body, one up top. Pop, pop. You know what I'm saying? I believe he's going to do what he's supposed to do to break Fury's body down. And you saw Fury training with some little small guy. I don't, you know, trying to block body shots. That's not emulating Tyson, Anthony Joshua. For one, whoever that guy was very fucking small, and basically Fury's just covering up his body. Well, at the same time, nothing's coming up top. This is just strictly him trying to come forward, and I'm watching like, oh, see, I think that Fury feels like if he's coming forward and he's trying to catch the shots, you know, with his arms, that he's going to be able to walk AJ down. I don't see that working for him. Not to mention something's going to come up top from AJ. This person was instructed to throw nothing but body shots. I know what he was doing. And he's seen the same training videos of you know, Anthony Joshua hitting the bag, throwing the hook, and people will hit, but look how slow he's throwing it. He's throwing his shots like that on purpose. And trust me, when he hurts you, that's when those type of shots are going to come out. Time it, bang, out of nowhere. And you know, people, if you're speaking about who you want to win, you're not speaking with, and you're not speaking logically. You're just talking and imagining like the worst happening for the opponent. Everything you're saying, understand this. Everything you're saying is just out of, you know, supporting your favorite fighter. When you use logic and reason, like I said, for Anthony Joshua, he, you know, he box, use his jab, hit, you know, throw his body shots, move his head. Don't throw a shot and then just stand there, throw a shot, move your head. You know what I'm saying? Throw 1-2s, use your jab, work behind your jab. You know what I'm saying? Keep your feints going and just, you know, lateral movement, and then come forward, chop Fury down. Now, both guys, as far as I'm concerned, are going to have to be on top of their game. Both guys. Fury already said the same thing. Fury needs to move, use his jab, use his reach. You know what I'm saying? And give different looks. But if he goes in there trying to walk AJ down, like people are saying he's going to fight him the same way he fought Wilder. If you guys understand boxing, if you understand the two fighters, okay, the two fighters involved, you guys would have common sense to know that is one of the worst things Fury can do. That is one of the worst things that Fury can do. You know, when Evander Holyfield fought Mike Tyson, and people thought that Mike was going to destroy Evander Holyfield. I remember one of the things that people were saying, me and my, you know, friend at the time, you know, my friend Phil, dead now, you know, we were the only two people in the whole room that was going with Holyfield. And basically, Holyfield fought him similar to the way we thought he was. Catch his shots, move, and make Mike pay. Mike make him miss, make him pay. And we said if he can catch that left hook, he got Mike. Because the whole thing was, we was like, if he can take Mike's shot, because Mike gonna get something in. But if he can take Mike's shot and avoid just getting hit with a bunch of unnecessary, you know, shots, he'll get him. Because when Mike throws his shots, Mike tries to like lunge in, then he tries to like get in and move you back to the ropes and try to rip you. And we know Holyfield can box. When I watched him, I'm like, Holyfield's the better boxer. He can fight better than Mike, man. He can go to war, he can box, he can move. It's just a matter of what he had, you know, left, because people was looking at Holyfield like, you know, Holyfield definitely wasn't the same fighter. that he was prior. He wasn't. But that's what everybody was saying. Oh, but nah, Mike wasn't the same. Nobody was saying it before they fought. And what I'm getting at, okay, in this comparison is that people thought Holyfield was going to have to fight like Ali. That's what everybody was saying. You got to get on his toes and dance all night, just jab and move and don't get hit with nothing. And I said, nah, I don't see Holyfield doing that. I see Holyfield, you're going to have to get Mike respect. I see him beating Mike to the punch. If he got to catch that left hook, that's exactly what he did. I only wish they had video of me saying that back then. So, well, y'all rock with me, you know. I don't make up stories. This is a fight, and we're talking about a guy who has some hand speed that could punch as well. He didn't have to hit as hard as Mike. He just had to be able to get the shots there. In the case of Tyson Fury, I don't care what John Fury says. I don't care what Peter Fury says. I don't care what Tyson Fury says. They know this is the best fighter that they fought so far. And they know that when they get in the ring with AJ, AJ's coming to fight. They know damn well this is not no Deontay Wilder situation. Tyson Fury, you know, like to try to mind games and try to get in his opponent's heads and try to, you know, talk super confident. And if he's saying that, his fans are going to say things. I guess he figured, you know, word goes around. This is what they're saying. This is what everybody think. No, this is what those fans think. This is what those people think. I don't believe AJ. People think AJ doesn't have a strong mind. I don't believe at all that he doesn't have a strong mind. I just think that because AJ, the way he fought Ruiz in the rematch, which I had no problem with it, he did what he had to do. When he fought Pulev, he went in there and he got rid of Pulev. You know, he went in there and he did what he had to do. I just think because AJ's humble and AJ doesn't talk like, man, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. They think that he lacks confidence. You know, and I remember when he said when he lost, he was saying sometimes you question yourself, like ask like, do you belong in there? Listen, let's not forget something. Mike Tyson was walking around crying at one point before a fight, scared that he was going to lose and just, you know, thinking about everything that was on the table. So what you do when you get in the ring, that's what matters. That bell ring, butterflies, all that shit goes away. And let's understand something as well. Tyson Fury is a boxer. He's not a brutalizer. He's not a guy, he brutalized Wilder. And I think everybody, like I said, everybody's just jumping the gun. You know, overall, we don't even know if the fight is official yet. I saw that 100%. I'm confident that 100% confident that the fight happens. All of that doesn't change the fact that the fight still hasn't been officially announced yet. So hopefully we get that fight. Now, simple. Clarissa Shields, right, versus Savannah Marshall. I think Savannah Marshall's a good fighter. I've already stated that before. She's a good fighter. I don't think she can beat Clarissa Shields now. I don't care nothing about what happened back in the day. I don't care about any of that. Listen. Savannah Marshall. Let me break something down. Clarissa Shields is sharp. Sharp with her jab. She's fast. She has great head movement. Good foot movement. She can get in, get out. Great. She has great foot movement. Okay, she can get off the ropes. Slip, slide, move. She get her shots in. No, she doesn't rack up knockouts, but she doesn't have to. And if you notice, now, Clarissa is one of them fighters that she can punch. And I believe is like, she's big and she has power because she's big. She doesn't have devastating power. I know a lot of people are going by the things that Layla Ali was saying as far as saying she doesn't know how to throw punches. And no, here's the thing. You see all these people that fight Clarissa Shields talk big shit before the fight, and they all say she can't punch until she starts hitting them. And now what they do, the whole, like half of the fight from the 6 on, most of them are grabbing, holding on, trying to not get hit because she's cracking them, and it's like, oh shit. So it's obvious she has some sting in those shots. She doesn't have devastating power. She doesn't need to. Savannah Marshall, okay, she is slow, man. She is fucking slow. She throws wild, like when she throws shots, she leans, she stands straight up. She doesn't bring her shots back to protect her chin. Look at her jabs. She throw the jab out, bring that shit back waist level. She sit there, double, triple jab, bring it back waist level. She'll throw her fucking jab, reach with the right, you know, step in, reach for body shots. She leaves her chin wide open. She is no fucking way. The woman that she just beat, you know, there's no way she can fight Claressa Shields that way and win. First off, that woman was like this tall, like short, tiny little woman. No reach, haven't fought in a year and a half, almost 2 damn years, and to even say that she could beat Claressa based on that win is fucking stupid. I mean, we're not even talking about similar stature, nothing, speed, nothing. That woman had no defense. As slow as Marshall is, the woman couldn't get away from the shot. She was getting rocked. I mean, people, listen. Savannah Marshall's a good fighter, okay? And I'm not the one to try to take anything from a fighter. But I'm not going to sit here and gas up her ability based on beating the woman that she just beat. Like because she did it to her, that's what she's going to do to Claressa Shields. I just want to see the fight. Like I said, I'm not about arguing points of who's going to do what and why and debating. No, I'm just giving what I think. But at the same time, if you guys watch that fight and you don't think that Claressa Shields will make her miss and pay for those slow shots, those reaching shots, she loops her shots. And they turn out being slap shots. She doesn't punch as hard as she thinks she does. I have not seen no devastating fucking power from her. I watched the fight, and I've watched several of her fights. And I watched this last fight she just had. And I'm sitting there watching them. I just wasn't motivated. Didn't you have the slightest bit of thought that she's going to have anything for... She can't beat Claressa Shields. Like I said in the last video, if they fight, I'm putting money on that. I'm putting money on that. Whether Claressa Shields knocks her out or not is not even important. I say Claressa Shields dominates. She beats her, she punishes her. And at the end of the day, she wins. Like, there's no close fight. There's no, it could have went either way. I just don't see her doing that. Savannah Marshall she moves her head well. Okay, nothing was coming against this opponent. She's moving her head. She's jabbing, she's feinting and all that. Right, but look at the opponent she's fighting. That woman had nothing. Maria, whatever her name is, she had nothing. Nothing. She had nothing. Nothing at all for Savannah Marshall. And to fight someone who hasn't fought in a year and a half, I mean, wasn't Fury just saying he needed at least 2 fights? Wasn't his father saying the same thing? Wasn't they all, he needed at least 2 or 3 fights? You know, he want to fight twice all the year. You're right. Okay. What are we talking about with Deontay Wilder? Him saying he need that he can beat what's his name, Dillian White easy, his style is easy. And like I said, right? Well, if that's the case, why would he need a tune-up? Come and beat this easy style in Dillian White, and then there's no need. Why would you need a tune-up for an easy fight, right? Okay, this woman that she fought just came off, like I said, damn near 2-year layoff. So, I mean, are we really going to sit here and act like this was a world-class fighter that she just beat? Are we really going to sit here and act like that this woman that she just beat was anywhere near as good as Claressa Shields? So, I've answered Anthony Joshua. I've answered this one. And this is, I just don't see, she doesn't have anything that Claressa Shields have to worry about. All this, like she says, she hits too hard for Claressa Shields. Talk your shit. Say what you got to say. Build up. Let's get the fight going. That's because that's all it is as far as I'm concerned. I didn't see any devastating power. I just saw her able to hit the target several times. If she hit as hard as she said, she would have knocked that one out early. Because she was cracking her early. Cracking her early with shots. And they were like slaps, arm punches. Listen. There's a lot of fighters who say a lot of things. And I don't agree with what they're saying a lot of times. But it's their right to feel like they want to feel. They can think whatever they want to think. But trying to shortchange your opponent by telling yourself that you're better than you are, that you're faster than you are, that you hit harder than you do, that you got better footwork than you know, all that stuff, it doesn't mean anything. Fans are always going to chime in and cheer for their fighter, the fighter that they like. But at the same time, someone who's an observer like myself, I just stand back and I just observe and I watch and I see strong points, weak points, what this person does good, what they don't do good, how the other fighter can exploit it. That's what I look at. So when you guys are sitting here talking about You're just repeating what she said. Oh, she hits too hard for Clarissa. Based on what? Based on what? Because she said it? That's no different from Deontay Wilder saying that Dillian White style is easy for him, right? Okay, so let's see. Show us. That's all that basically comes down to. Listen, the fights we want to see, hopefully we get them. And if we don't, like I said, life goes on. It doesn't affect me any kind of way. I got too much that I love about life to sit up here and cry and worry about a fucking boxing match. But at the same time, it's like, if these guys, these ladies want to fight, don't talk shit and then go fight somebody else. You know, don't overprice yourselves. Don't sit up and say one thing and then after you go in there and get your ass kicked, start making up excuses. From the fans to the fighters, at the end of the day, put up or shut up. That's the way I see it. Because we can sit here and play fanboy, fangirl all day. What does it change? Nothing. At all. Listen, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.